in the BOOODANCHORME. Yeah, to his WORD, BAPTIZED. And his GRACEANCHORME. Yeah, to the LMMB. Yeah.
Welcome to Baptized and Clueless. I'm your host, you,
And I'm your host, Wes.
a podcast where we unravel the misconceptions that can make your spiritual journey feel overwhelming.
We know that stumbling and falling are a part of the process, and we're here to embrace that vulnerability together.
Let's get the show started. Welcome back to another episode of Baptized and Clueless. I appreciate everyone that joined us today. Thank you for taking the time. Wesley, how are you doing today, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Yusuf. I'm doing good.
Awesome. Glad to always hear that. At the end of the day, it's all about mental health.
Right.
That's true life wealth. So we
Yes.
can't just take each other for granted.
Mm-hmm.
So recently I was reading scripture as per usual,
Mm-hmm.
and it just kind of came to me one day, and I was thinking about, everyone's so concerned about the fruits of their labor
Yeah.
and what they're gonna get for putting in this work. Usually, people are concerned about money and whatnot. And then you have those of us who are spiritual. We're thinking about our, fruits of the spirit as we know them to be.
Mm-hmm.
But then a thought came by, and the thought was, I will tend to my roots before I'm concerned with my fruits.
Mm. Mm.
And then the thought came as, God has made us aware of what fruits we can bear.
Yeah.
He has also told us how to be rooted in Him, and you can't have one without the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the minute I didn't make it sit with me too long, I just wrote it down real quickly, and it just had me thinking, am I tending to my roots?
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
And the first thing that comes to mind, Wesley, is like, what's your heart posture?
Mm.
If you're tending to your roots, where do you think your heart posture would have to be to tend to your roots?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As a question, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah. So, like that is so good. Like tending to my roots before the fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because obviously the fruits of the spirit, we think of all the fruits of the spirit, love, peace, and all of the
Joy,
other ones.
yep. Patience, yep.
Yeah. And like to be able to think of, like, do you have the roots that will produce the fruit,
Yes.
and so, like, when you talk about, like, what's our heart posture,
Mm-hmm.
that's a serious question. And if I'm being honest, like, that's something that needs to be reflected on, because, like, I can't give you a sure answer right now,
Right,
where
right,
my heart posture is, because I know where I want my heart posture to be.
right.
But like, if I'm being honest, like, you know I don't even know if, like, my roots are, you know strong enough, or if I have the, because I know, of course, I need to improve on
Mm-hmm.
all of the fruits of the spirit.
We all do.
Yeah.
Definitely,
And
definitely.
so, but, like, to tend to our roots, yeah, that's something that needs to be reflected on.
Well, this is the thing. It's like our heart posture is something that's always developing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, like the sure thing each week, my heart posture is trying. Right?
Yeah.
That could be a label. I'm
Yeah.
trying because let's face it, at the end of the day, every situation that you face is based on decisions, and your
Hmm.
decisions will be made based on where your heart posture is.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
so angry to the point where you can't just let something slide? Are you
Mm.
so saddened to the point where you can't pick yourself up?
Hmm.
Are you choosing to make these decisions based on your emotions only, which will truly reflect what your heart posture is? And I mean,
Yeah.
if we are talking about, fruits of the spirit, is it love, joy, you
Peace,
have
patience,
peace, patience, you have
kindness,
kindness, faithfulness,
gentleness,
gentleness, right? I
and
mean,
self-control. Yeah.
don't forget self-control.
Yeah.
That last one right there,
Yeah.
actually, that's the crux for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so funny. Like, there's a reason why love is placed first, because that is the epitome of Jesus. That's the epitome of God Himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is why the Holy Spirit is here. That's why we
hmm
have salvation.
It
It's
says,
it's love.
yeah, it says, because it says in scripture, like, you could cast out demons in God's
Hmm.
name. You could cast out, you could
You could heal the sick.
prophesy. Yeah, heal the sick. But if you
Yeah,
don't have love, then all of that is all of that is useless. All of that is meaningless.
useless. Like, love is primary.
Yeah.
And I realized that, Jesus Himself had said what the two most important commandments are. Love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and to love your
Mm.
neighbor as you love yourself.
Mhm.
But when I think of the fruits of spirits, I'm like, and let's not forget self-control.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that self-control just tells you exactly where your heart posture is.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's like, are you feeling greed? Are you feeling anger? Are you feeling lust? Are you feeling
Yeah.
confused? Are you feeling doubt? And are you able to control the emotions enough to remember, hey, I don't have to take this on by myself.
Mhm.
I have a God that loves me enough to says, hey, bring that to me.
Right.
I'll deal with it for you. But a lot of
Yeah.
times we don't have the self control, the stamina, or the mental fortitude to be like, hey, this is a little much. But it's funny enough though, we're very happy to think about all the fruits we can gain. We're
Mhm.
so happy to be like, oh yeah, if I start doing this, this is what the end result is. If I go to school for 2 years, I'm gonna get this, and they can stay so focused on that. But we should be really focused on what our heart posture is in order to really put in the work for our roots. Because funny enough, as the topic is about tending to my roots, we tend to the
Mhm.
roots of society very easily.
Very easily.
If
Yeah.
we want to be the top rapper, you've got kids practicing to rhyme everything from the age of like 8.
Yeah.
If you want to go to school, you start talking about good grades from grade 5. You start really paying attention, grade 4, all the way up through middle school, all the way through high school, college, university, so you can get that career as a lawyer, only to end up being, what do they call those people that work for free? Those lawyers that didn't make it.
Wait, say it again.
I said, what do they call those lawyers that they work for free? They're not, I
Oh,
can't
I
remember
don't
the term
know.
right now. It's
I
slipping
don't
my
know.
mind. But the bottom
Yeah.
line is, you've got top lawyers, you got bottom lawyers. And the end of the day is, they all went to school, and their focus was to, the fruit of being this top lawyer.
Mhm.
And sometimes you just gotta check your roots, man. If you didn't check your roots, you're not always gonna get your fruit that you thought you're gonna get. If you don't plant the right seeds and have strong roots that's gonna grow the fruit you wanted. You want good grapes? You can't put it in dry vineyards. It's just not gonna
Mm.
happen.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
have poor soil, your tomatoes are gonna be horrible. They probably won't even bud in any way, shape, or form. I
Mhm.
mean, we tend to focus on the end results of everything. I want to be a
Mhm.
Christian because I want to get to heaven. The in between stuff is the difficult part. The saying yes to one to be saved and baptized, okay,
Yeah.
that was a hard enough decision. But the walk before heaven, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these are the roots that we've got to really tend to. Like, are we tending to our Bible study? Not for the sake of just saying I read the Bible, not just for the sake of saying I can quote scriptures, but
Mm.
to actually understand that, hey, this scripture here just is just asking me to submit.
Yeah.
It's not asking me to
Yeah.
go out there and go fight dragons and heal all the blind and make all the cripples walk.
Mm.
The true miracle is your heart posture being changed to the point where someone says something to you and you don't imagine choking them. You don't imagine hitting the car in front of you because you're going too slow.
Mm.
You don't think of the person's biggest fear that you know, and the best way to hurt them is to bring it up.
Mhm.
You want the fruits of love, joy, and patience, and you've got to root it somewhere. And your roots are
Yeah.
based on your decisions. So where you plan, where you decide to plant your intentions.
Mhm.
So when it comes to the core of our outward attitude and actions, I mean, what are some of the things that you struggle with as far as your outward? Because I know you're pretty mild mannered. I haven't seen you upset yet, which is another scary thing. People who don't get upset enough for you to know what's up, I don't know about that.
Hey, I hear you on that because yeah, for people that don't really get upset, like it's either it's most likely they're bottling up inside of them, and
Yeah.
yeah, so that's something I had to learn, because you're right, I don't really get upset easily, but
Hmm.
when I do get upset, one thing I found out about myself is that when I do get upset, I tend to, just bottle it up and try
Yeah.
not to get upset because I'm like, oh, I shouldn't be getting upset, I
Hmm.
should, try to just, let it go, or, just try to like push it off, and, I do know that that's not good because, you
Yeah.
know,
You should still be able to talk about what it is, but part of the root that
mhm,
you're growing there is also patience as well. But if you
yeah,
it'll turn into something else if you don't get to talk it out at least. You don't have to blow up,
yeah,
right? But I mean,
yeah,
this is what a lot of people we're all dealing with.
mhm,
We're all dealing with this
mhm.
kind of stuff. Like, for instance, the guy who wants to be able to love people, but he's loving people the wrong way. It's
Yeah.
like, sir, that's not love. That's wrong
Yeah.
L word. That's lust. Not lust,
Oh, yeah.
joy, right? But we had this
Yeah.
we had this borderline with things like you're talking about being able to express yourself and not bottle up your anger, but at the same time, you are showing patience as well to be like, not every situation deserves the same level of attention and anger.
Mhm.
And even
Mhm.
so, I mean, I think I only recall Jesus getting angry one time in particular when he turned over tables
Yeah.
when the temple was pretty much a casino. He's
It
like,
was
this
a
is
righteous anger. It
yeah,
was
it
a
was a
righteous
righteous
anger.
anger. It's like this is not Vegas. Turned over all the tables, got upset with all the money exchange crookery that was going on in
Uh,
that place.
that was the moment we realized that Jesus is not weak, but he's meek.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, people are so funny. Turn the M upside down, right? And it's like it rhymes. But the bottom line is that Jesus also showed that you can get angry about something and still be a patient and loving person.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Being angry is not
Mhm.
the issue. Is are you holding on to anger? Are you holding on to grudges?
Mm.
Is that where you're rooting all your energy into?
Mm. Yeah.
Or are you finding time to be like, you know what? I'll be patient with it. You know what? I'll show this person love because they're not always like this.
Right. Right.
And I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to show faithfulness, is to say, okay, Lord, I give this problem onto you. I know you'll end up fixing it. And some way, somehow, it turns around and you, that person, end up talking things out. And it's not as
Mhm.
bad as you thought it was, or it could be resolved, or at least
Mhm.
understood.
Yeah, you know, like we're just thankful that, we serve a God who's slow to get angry.
Oh,
And
yeah.
even when he does get angry, it's a righteous anger, you
Yeah,
know?
it is. Unfortunately, he has the right to be angry because we give him so many reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
It's,
Good thing good thing we have a rainbow
right? Oh, don't get me started with
to
the
remind
rainbow.
him to remind himself.
Oh, good old rainbow. What happened to you? But yes, it was to remind us that he will not get that angry again, and that's what we're supposed to be able to look at. But
Right, right.
this wayward society, I was taking something that was meant for good and just turned to something else. But we do that with
Mm,
a lot of things, right? You can drink
yeah.
wine, nothing wrong with it. But here we are, selling more wine than people can name, and
Yeah.
we just get out of control with it because we have so little handle. But I mean, looking at that, I mean, if the if the if the fruits of the spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and gentleness. I mean, again, when I was just thinking about the wine thing, it's like self control. Like I said, self control is a top one.
I
And it,
think, yeah, for everyone it's the top.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, love, we wish to have it. We know we want to
Mhm.
receive it, but are we
Mhm.
giving it? But when it comes to that self control, it really puts a kibosh on a lot of the negative things you would do. And I look back at my past and my gosh, I didn't have self control at all.
Mm.
In
Yeah.
so much different levels, right? Whether it be in seeking relationships or whether it be like the way I put that, seeking relationships, that's right. Or whether it be exacting vengeance, like don't talk mess to me. Oh, I got words planned in my head for you.
Mm.
It's like
Dang.
I was just I was just rude, and I wish I could say
Yeah.
just when I was younger, like in my throughout my 20s, I was
Oh,
just
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
rude, but I was rude thinking I was rude and righteous. Like
Dang, who that righteous?
I had a point. I'm making a point. I have a right, and yeah, I'm stating certain facts, but I may also be missing others.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so I never show people any patience.
Mhm.
And it's funny how I didn't show patience, and I come to realize now I didn't have any peace.
Yeah.
My roots are so rotten back in the day, so rotten. I'm not saying that right now we're sprouting up everything daisies and blooming here and there, but in
Mhm.
comparison, my tree is much better than it was back then. But
Yeah.
it's to be able
Yeah.
to recognize it, though, be able to take a step back and see it. Like, yeah, you've got to be able to take accountability for choices you've made because my heart posture my heart was broken, my heart
Mhm.
was hardened,
Hardened. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
my heart
Mhm.
was filled with shame.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. And it just like a rotten root, like the heart is like it's one of the essential parts of your body, of course, right? Like everything is important, of course.
Mhm.
You need your intestine, you need your liver, you need your, well, they say you don't need your kidney, but it's there for a reason. Um, and at the end of the day, you need your brain, of course, but your heart's like pumping the blood, the fluid of life throughout the entire body. And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the center part. And what I was filling it with was really damaging the rest of me because then my thoughts were going as well. I'm
Yeah.
angry
Yeah.
about things I'm not too sure why I'm angry about. I don't mean angry like, misguided kids like, I don't know why you're so angry. It was just angry because I had no peace and I'm
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
fill my heart with all these other things
Yeah. You're
between,
trying to fill a void.
trying to fill the void.
Yeah.
Trying so
Yeah.
hard to fill the void. But spiritually, I wasn't rooted in anything that was going to help me.
Mhm.
Knew
Mhm.
of God, but didn't want to take the time to get to really know God. And know He's the Lord of all things, but I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm just not there yet. And
Right.
that's a dangerous statement to make that we all do, unfortunately. Um, if there's one thing that should be taught to young people, anyone actually, is really check the core of who you are and why.
Mhm.
And those things will let you know just how rooted you are in the things that are right, things that will help you grow, and then you can worry about your fruits afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just want to point this out. Like, as you were talking about, self control and talking about the fruits of the spirit. The thing that came to my mind was when Jesus cursed the fig tree that wasn't producing any
Yes,
fruit.
yes.
Because like when Jesus went to, like, we all know the story, when
Hmm.
Jesus went to the fig tree and he saw that there was no fruits in it,
Yes,
like, he cursed it. And the next time they came to it, the disciples saw that the fig tree withered, and
exactly, exactly. The fig tree was a representation of the people
right, right, representation of us.
because their roots were rotten. And at the end of the day, it looked like it was a proper tree, but underneath there was
Yeah,
nothing. It wasn't the right nutrients, it wasn't the right soil.
right.
It was just in the right place. And when it comes to us, that is us. Can you imagine people outwardly can smile on your face and tell you good morning and good afternoon, and people nowadays talking about they're not keeping it real, whatever. The
Mm,
bottom line is their heart. They could be broken. They could be hurt. They could be afraid. They show this face on
Yeah.
the outside, and people assume, well, that's who they are, kind of thing. But it's like there's more to it. Like, where is this? Where are they really rooted into? Are they
Hmm.
are in a world where they're lost? And people look at what they do on the outside, like, oh, well, that's who they are. Like, oh, he's a minister, so he's got to be doing great. Or she's driving a Benz.
Mm.
She must be a boss babe. Like, yeah, she's got the material, he's got the position. But do they have God? Do they have
Yeah.
peace? Do they have any joy? Do they have any love?
Right. Yeah.
Where
And
where where are you rooting yourself?
yeah, and going back to that love thing,
Hmm.
like, obviously we just said that self-control is something that we all need,
Yeah.
but like I think, of course, love is the center of all of it, because I think if you have love, you know, everything else, every other fruit will come.
Yes. Yeah.
You'll end up having joy. You'll end up having peace.
Hmm.
That's why Jesus keeps saying, keeps saying to the disciples, like, talking about love, because,
Yeah.
and that's why he always mentions love in the Bible, because love is the very thing that, will allow all the other fruits to nourish.
Yeah. It's why we're here. If it wasn't for love,
Oh
the
yeah.
Lord would just be wiping out the earth every so often.
Yeah.
Right? Because the way to describe how the world was back then, I swear we're living in it right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if if God saw that only Noah was the one that he saw was good, then that's how
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. The fig tree you were talking about was Luke 21 verse 29.
Mm.
When he's giving the parable of the fig tree. But yeah, it's definitely key to it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was looking at what other scriptures that come to mind for me. I think it was
Um.
Proverbs 3, 5, and 6.
Right,
I
right.
believe that was it.
Trust in the
Yeah,
Lord
it
with all
is.
your heart.
Exactly. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not
Mm-hmm.
on your own understanding. In
Mm-hmm.
all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight.
Yeah, that's one of the scriptures right there that can
Hmm.
help us to get rooted in Him.
Exactly. And again, that falls under self-control. You have the self-control. If you can submit that control to him,
Yeah.
everything else falls into line.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was one of my problems.
Mine's as well.
When you're so used to being your own person, because you're no longer living at home or you're not making money, whatever the case may be,
Mm-hmm.
you start feeling yourself.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want to do is give up control because the way they romanticized adulthood
Mm.
was if you if you dig your time and effort into making money, dig your time and effort into getting a place, dig your time and effort into getting a car, ooh, you got it made.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what the mind of an 18, 19, 20-year-old is at to this day. They're now an adult and that's it. And they want to make all the decisions themselves and they want to make sure they have all the control,
Mm-hmm.
lacking self control, but wanting all the control. And it took me a long time to realize that self control is such a false narrative.
Yeah.
I can't just wake up
Yeah.
when I want to. I can't just go to any ATM and pull out how much, any amount I want to. I can't just go buy a yacht this week and a big mansion the following week. Like
Mm.
the idea of control is so false, and then the self control thing is the destructive part because it's pretty much telling us, you don't need to submit to anything but yourself, and that was a big mistake. And when you submit to God, like Proverbs 3 says, it's such a different story because as it states, He'll set your path straight, meaning that He will
Yeah.
bring peace into your life.
Yeah.
He'll bring the
Yeah.
joy and love, but you gotta accept it.
Yeah. Yeah. Knowing that His plans for us are better than our our
Oh,
plans for ourselves.
oh yeah, by far.
Yeah.
My, my plans are so garbage.
But here's the thing, like, for us, we just think in our own heads that we know what's best for us.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a society and a culture that teaches, hey, 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 pretty much as a kid, they're telling you, you got 18 years to get things going, but after that, you're on your own. You can do whatever you want.
Mm.
And
Mm.
with that, in a child's mind, we plant what it is that we want. We think we can stay up late, eat what we want, and do what we want to do and not to worry what anyone says. And then you become 19, 20, 21. And instead of acting like a 19, 20, 21, you're now still acting like the little 7-year-old that says, I can stay up late, I can eat what I want,
Mm.
and I can go anywhere and no one can say nothing. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh. And I mean, and you want that. You've been under submission of your parents for so long that when you become an adult, it's like finally, and it takes
Finally.
you 10,
Yeah.
15, 20 years. You're now 30, 35, 40, and then realize, oh, this is not working out.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, tobacco Proverbs, James 4, verse 7, submit yourselves then to God, resist the
Mm.
devil, and he will flee from you.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
So when I hear this, I think of God in the wilderness and the devil tempting him.
Yeah, yeah.
We are in the wilderness plenty of times, especially because we think we're so self-efficient and
Mm.
self-reliant and in full control.
Mm.
And when we're under that lie, because we're rooted under the deception of we got this, and
Yeah, yeah.
we throw away the fruit of the spirit of self-control. We've already turned our back on love and joy. Forget that. We don't know what the idea of peace is. It just sounds like a word, right? But the devil's like, he's out in the wilderness. Gotcha. Let me feed you some of this. Hey, 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 that new job you get, if you actually apply for this, you'll get that other title. Sometimes people see these things and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get this other position. I'm gonna make so much money. Yeah, I need to work 10 more hours a week, but that's okay.
Not realizing that, not realizing that in the fine print it says,
Yes,
"Oh yeah, and you're gonna suffer from stress and
exactly,
depression."
exactly. It's like you're sitting at your desk longer. You know you're getting a hemorrhoid, right? It's like you gotta you gotta realize there's some real false ideology behind this whole. Yeah, I have full self control. You don't,
Yeah,
and
Jesus showed the ultimate self control in the
in
wilderness.
that moment, exactly. And I mean,
Yeah.
just think of it right now. It's like the real self control we have is in our yes and our no,
Mhm.
and the yes or no will show where we want to be rooted.
Like it's simple as that, but to us it's
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
it's like a hassle to say yes or no.
Oh, easily. The
Yeah.
two of the shortest words that have
Yeah.
so much power in this
So much
language.
power. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, the word
Mm.
no is pretty much universal in a lot of languages. May have a funny accent, but it's still the same no,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Nada is a long version to it, but we know what it means. Well, it's
Like
really nothing. But
there's even some it's so like saying no is so universal that like even at a young age, even at an
oh
infant age,
yeah, yeah.
they even a toddler age they know how to say no. They one of their first words is no.
Toddlers are rooted to the word no.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, we just have to realize that we do have that option, and not knowing that we have the self control to say yes or no to things that will lead us away from peace, joy, and love, patience,
Hmm.
kindness, faithfulness, gentleness. Not realizing that we have that self control is what's
Hmm.
messing a lot of people up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And realizing the self control is not actual self control, but the control to say yes or no to things that are right. When we
Hmm.
say yes to God and no to the temptations of the world, submitting ourselves to Him is the biggest win you can have, because He really does
Yeah.
get in the driver's seat. And
Hmm.
unlike your best friend who you think, they got my back. No, Jesus really has your back.
Yeah, yeah.
Your friend can only have your back as much as they can handle.
Mm.
Your friend's another human. They got limitations.
Yeah.
Jesus has no limitations.
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
So at the end of the day, it's like we really have to watch what we root ourselves into. And, it may sound as easy as just listing off the list of the joys of the spirit, but the truth of the matter is there's so much wisdom in God's word that it seems so simple at times, but yet we
Yeah.
miss the mark so frequently.
Isn't that isn't that what sin means? Like missing the mark?
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure there's an acronym in it. I'll come up with something. Not right now, but I'll come up with something.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is because that it's just ridiculous how easy it is to sin.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was a time when people had stones in their pocket ready to fling a stone at you if you sinned in any way, shape, or form. And
Mm.
now it's just accepted like, oh, that's not sin. That's just bad behavior. Oh, that's
Yeah.
not sin. That's just their personality.
And what comes up in my mind is when um that story in the Bible that talks about like when Jesus approached the adulterous women and
Hmm.
told the fair like they were ready to stone the
Oh no,
adulterous
yeah.
woman.
Did he approach him? He was bending on the sand. He was
Oh,
when
okay.
he was
Yeah,
doing that. Yeah, I
yeah,
think
yeah,
she approached him. But yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that. That's right. That's right.
yeah.
That's right. We had a discussion that like a while back. Was that a different group?
Yeah.
Someone had brought it up, and it's a,
Yeah,
it's a it's a great reminder, Wes. And they're all accusing her, right? And saying that
yeah,
she should be stoned because she's an adulteress.
yeah. She committed that sin.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Jesus told the Pharisees, whoever like has not sinned, throw the first stone. And they all dropped their stones.
All drop their stones. You know, this is
Yeah.
the only time I'll say this. Shout out to the Pharisees for for having an honest moment, right?
Right.
That would not
Yeah.
happen today.
Yeah.
You would have heard pop.
Yeah,
She would have got
yeah.
hit with a stone today because
Had
you grew up
no
telling the
had
truth.
had no mercy to
No
lie.
mercy. But yeah, that was the right thing. I made the analogy, oh, this is a while back too, that it's kind of like how the woman also represents when we are guilty with emotions of doing something
Hmm.
wrong.
Hmm.
And the Pharisees are the voices in our head telling us how we should be persecuted and how wrong we are and how worthless we are. Because that's how the enemy talks when you're down.
Hmm.
And if you actually turn to God and present yourself, he says to you, hey, you're freedom for your sin, sin no more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, it just dawned on me at the time. I was like, yeah, but the discussion we had was so heated about that scene. And I remember that this came to me at the time. I was like, oh, those voices are like the voices in your head. So many times you hear the arguments in your head about the things
Hmm.
you've done and the guilt you feel and how you should be ashamed and what should really happen to you and how unworthy you are. And if you don't turn to Jesus, that's you'll get stoned in your emotions, you'll get stoned in your mental health,
Mm.
you'll get knocked down easily. But the
Yeah.
minute you submit yourself, your issue, your burdens to God Himself, that's the
Hmm.
exact kind of simple and soft answer He'll give you. He'll tell you sin no more. He knows you will, but you definitely not to repeat the same sin.
Right. Right.
And He'll give you relief if you accept it.
Hmm. Hmm. And you talk about submit, but another word is surrender.
Yeah, throw your hands up,
Hmm.
right? Wave the flag of submission.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a call for help either way, but yeah, turn it to Him. And that's a control we really have. And when you choose not to, it's like, dumb dumb. You were spinning your wheels for no reason.
Yeah.
But
Get ourselves into trouble.
yeah, I mean, as I say it to you, my heart's like crush, like remembering, like one of the times I did that. I'm like, yeah,
We'll be
full
running in
disclosure.
cycles.
Yeah, exactly. Full disclosure, folks. When I speak, it's because I went through it. I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about some time in my past, but it's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
breath of
We're talking about
experience, and
ourselves.
yeah, that's I gotta base on. This is my walk with God, and that's what He did. This is how it happened, and I don't know about you people out there, but when He decides to say, "Hey, it's time for you to come in,"
Hmm.
like a parent, you're outside playing in the rain. It's like, okay, that's enough. Before you catch pneumonia, come inside. You just caused a mess. You got rain in your boots, your jacket's open, your head's wet.
We're all jacked up.
Yeah, pretty much. You're gonna pay for this in a few days, but for the time being, come out the rain. It's like grateful for His mercy because I don't know if I'd be sitting here talking to you. I don't even know
Yeah.
if I'd meet someone like you
Yeah.
fight and change our ways. It's like this, everyone's journey it's gonna take a path. There's no quick way to it,
Mhm.
and it's not all filled with physical, materialistic riches.
Mhm.
And if people don't realize that, the root of your peace and your joy and your love is in Him, and how it's presented in you doesn't have to like everyone else.
Mhm.
And you can't
Yeah.
compare the two to be like, well, mine is not as rich as whatever. I'd rather live in a simple home, have a simple life with a loving family, a closeness with God, than to be touring the world in jets with book tours and talking conferences, which sounds exciting and fascinating, but have a little struggle with how I talk with God and how I spend time with Him. Like, what's the point? Because usually those guys don't have a tight knit family because it's hard to juggle two lives.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
there's some of those who are successfully doing it. Shout out to them. Good for you. But it's not for everybody. And
Right.
I'd
Yeah.
rather have the core of happiness in that sense than to find it in. Because one of my fears, and this is full disclosure as well, one of my fears is doing anything to the point where you become infamous for it or well known for it, and then when that thing is gone, now you're not known for that. You're known for the thing that you've
Yeah.
done. Like, to always be tied to the thing that you do as your success or your identity is a
Yeah.
dangerous game.
Yeah. It is. It is. Not knowing, because you like, if that thing was gone, like, who are you now? Like, you wouldn't know who you are.
Who are you? Because you rooted yourself in crap, in
Mhm.
baloney. You rooted yourself in something that doesn't matter in the end of the day.
Mhm.
And so that's the problem with a lot of the things that we do in society. But yeah, people stay rooted, but stay rooted to the righteous
Yes.
things. And at the end of the day, if you need to remember fruits of spirits, put in the song. I did. No, I will not sing it, but put in the song. So so you remember what they are at least. And keep your heart, unhardened.
Yeah.
Don't be so quick to jump to conclusions of people and think of the worst. Or even if they do the worst, don't stick around them. Move to somewhere that brings you the joy and get closer to God.
Get closer to God. Yeah.
Wes, I appreciate your time again, man. Uh, we'll
Yes.
we'll join in again at our next convo. Can't wait.
Right.
All right, you take care of yourself, brother. So I want to thank you all for joining us once again. You've been a great audience. We appreciate your time for stopping by with us on this great conversation. Uh, Wesley, this has been a great topic. Thank you, man.
Yes, it has. It has.
Take care, everybody. Thank you for tuning into Baptized&Clueless. We hope today's conversation has brought you encouragement on your spiritual journey.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share, and leave us a review.
Join us next time. Until then, keep seeking, keep questioning, and know you're not alone. Thanks again.